The older you get, the more you realize how fickle the world is. If it's one thing I trust about the world, it's human nature and the fact that people will always do what's in their best interest. And the harsh reality is when you're a loser, when you're a nobody, aside from maybe your parents, your mom, a few friends, no one really gives a shit about you. No one cares in any room that you walk in, no one respects you. You're just another employee, another coworker. You know, girls don't even breathe in your direction. Obviously, on a micro level, things aren't as binary as just winning or losing, right? There's merit in effort and trying and never giving up despite the result. There's self-improvement, personal growth, etc. Of course, there's a lot of nuance in our individual journeys and accomplishments that actually mean something. But on a societal level, on a macro level, there's winners and losers. For example, if you're applying for a job or a position, right? No one really cares about how hard you tried up until that point. The only things that they're going to care about is your experience and what's your skill set. If you don't have it, then we don't want you. Or if you're applying for a university, right? No one really cares if you studied really hard and got a bunch of C's. Like, you're not going to call the admissions office and tell them, but I studied really hard, but I pulled a bunch of all-nighters and gave it my all. If you don't got the grades, it is what it is. Or let's say you're approaching an attractive girl, right? She doesn't care if you've been at the gym and lost 100 pounds in the past year if you're still overweight, out of shape, and 5'2", even if you've been grinding your ass off. Like, on a micro level, of course that effort means something. We all have our own definitions of winning and losing and success. And in that sense, success can be subjective. But on a macro level, in society and the world, success is pretty objective. The world only cares about your results and what you bring to the table. Essentially winners and losers. And unfortunately, winning and losing in society is defined by superficial metrics. Things like status and numbers, especially in the era of social media. You know, it's funny, right now I'm about 50 subs away from 10K and I'm really appreciative. Not because I get views and subs and it makes me feel good. I mean, it does feel good, right? But I'm more appreciative because it feels like I've found like-minded individuals. When my entire life I felt like I never fit in anywhere. And when I read the comments or emails or messages, I always end up thinking, oh, you guys are just like me. Especially some emails from guys that I read from 18 to early 20s, and you guys tell me about your situations with girls. I kind of feel like I'm your ghost of Christmas past giving you advice. It's like deja vu from an outsider perspective. And it feels good being able to genuinely talk to some of you guys. It's kind of corny, but it feels like I kind of built a bit of a home by just literally sharing ideas, perspectives, and my experiences. Like 10K is a pretty cool milestone, but more than just superficial numbers, I have the opportunity to give someone, maybe just one person, just someone out there, some sort of positive message or takeaway. Someone that I might never meet in my entire life. And for that, no matter what, I'll always be forever grateful. Like, bro, you know how much that means to me? Like, no matter how small, right? Impact is everything to me when it comes to success. Even if it's something as small as sharing an L or a story or an experience, and then someone being able to relate to that and then navigate their situation better, like, to me, that's like the coolest thing ever. You know, I actually remember when I was making videos with 12 views, 27 views, no one really gave a shit or said anything. Like, there was maybe 1 or 2 people that supported me. But for the most part, people kind of look at you weird and watch from a distance. And I'm gonna say this, right? Trying isn't cool. Like, doing something different, doing something outside the box, or doing something that's outside the norm, even though it's kind of sad, it's not received well when you try to do something different in life. Whatever it is, especially if you're just starting out. It's really only when you start showing glimpses of success do people start getting on board and treat you a little bit different. Going back to superficial metrics of success, right? In this case, social media views, numbers, subscribers, followers, etc. The first video that I ever made was a League of Legends compilation. It took weeks to make and weeks to finally get the courage to post. And I remember I posted it in the middle of the night during college, which I was doing for a long time. I was posting videos in the middle of the night out of insecurity. And the next day it got 11 views and I remember 3 dislikes. And this was back then when they actually showed dislikes, which they should bring back. Because we still see them as creators, so it's definitely not about mental health or whatever they say it is. And if you do get bothered by negativity and dislikes, you probably shouldn't create. But they got rid of dislikes because they want to be able to control narratives. They don't want you to see certain videos disliked to oblivion. But that's a whole nother topic. I was making League of Legends videos, but I was never really good at games. I really just wanted an outlet for my thoughts, so I started doing commentary over my gameplays. But a gaming community, especially as toxic as League, it's like, bro, no one cares about your thoughts on social media or how Instagram is making people depressed. So that's when I moved on to just whiteboard commentary videos. And those videos were so tedious to make, probably 4 to 5 days on the laptop writing scripts, then scrapping the scripts, recording your own voice, hating the sound of your own voice, and then syncing up the whiteboard animation with your commentary. Like, they were definitely tedious to make, and I'd get like 87 views in a week, 120 views in a week, but even so it felt purposeful, fulfilling, and it was a creative outlet for me. But again, back then, no one really cared, no one really said a word, maybe watched from a distance, because there wasn't any superficial metrics of success defined by society. And this was still in the middle of the pandemic. And to be honest, I've never felt like a bigger loser in the world was when I had to get one dose of the C19 shot, because I wanted to travel and I had to get it for work. And what bothered me the most was that I knew there were people that circumvented all the BS during the whole pandemic, because they had money, resources, influence, etc. The winners in society, essentially. It was really the lower middle class that were enslaved through all this. You couldn't work, you couldn't go anywhere, you couldn't travel, you were locked inside your house. And you know damn well politicians, celebrities, rich people, top 1%, they all knew it was bullshit and they all had ways around it. And I never felt more like a loser in my life because I compromised my morals and my beliefs in order to work, to travel, for society essentially. I fought against it as long as I could, and as soon as I found out what the card was, I just faked the second shot and told everyone I got it, turned it in for work, and everything was good. I only got the first shot, but I was so mad at myself for even having to get it, that I was in a position in my life where I was forced to even get one. I never felt more like a loser. I'm kinda getting off track, but basically I decided that I'm gonna do everything in my power to make sure I never put myself in a position where I have to compromise my beliefs or values for society again. And the only way to do that, the only way out, is to win. Because all the winners, they knew it was bullshit and they were in positions where they can do whatever they want. I mean, they sure as hell weren't forced to do anything. They had their ways of traveling. They had their ways of getting around. Some needed to work, some didn't. Some had connections, some had influence. Harsh reality is that the world only cares about winners. There's a quote I remember, and I forgot where it was from, but it's that if you want to prove your convictions, you have to win. If you want to prove your philosophies, your perspectives, your way of life, etc., you have to win. Otherwise, no one cares about what you have to say, especially in the world, especially in society. For example, let's say you believe that money doesn't buy happiness, or money does buy happiness. Whichever you believe, either way, no one really cares about your opinion if you're broke, because either way it just sounds like cope. Whatever you believe, if you want to prove your convictions, you have to win. If there's anything that you want to do or become or even try in your life, you don't need anyone to understand. Like, life is 100% a blessing from God, right? So while you're here, you deserve the right to do what you want to do and be who you want to become. And by the way, take that under the right context. Because I know someone out there is going to be like, what if I want to steal or hurt people or just chase pleasures? That's low IQ, you know what I mean. Being born doesn't mean you have to be a slave to the desires of anyone. You got the right to write the story you want to write, and also paint the picture that you want to create. I'm telling you, you don't need anyone to understand. Thank you for listening. I love you. I appreciate you. And with that said, make sure you stay true, and I'll talk to you real soon. Peace.